Hey everybody, it's Kevin, the Canadian Hillbilly, and this is going to be, I guess, the second part of working on the old tractor. Just to recap, part one was basically taking the whole bucket off. The blade was a little bit easier being a 3-point. Taking everything off, all the hydraulic lines were marked and capped, and that way reassemble goes a little easier. Lots of heavy iron, big lifting, awkward stuff, not fun. So hopefully today I can get the tin off. This, I might be able to get away with leaving this. Another thing I wanted to do eventually is get into this hydraulic pump and redo the seals in it. And yeah, so I gotta, in order to split this, there's so much that has to come off and come apart. It's gonna be quite the process. So, time to dive in and see what a feller can do. Yeah, there's lots. I already got a few little nuts and bolts off the bottom here and off the side there, and I made it that far, and I was like, I better go get the camera, because I was trying to make a video out of all this stuff, and I'm just doing stuff without recording it. It's just kind of pointless of doing a video for it. So the tent's nice and warm. I got coffee, got a fire going. It's a nice warm day outside. I got the tunes. Got a fancy new light in here so that it's really bright and nice for filming. And yeah, we're just going to take one little part at a time, and hopefully while I'm doing this I can give this motor a good little wiping, because it's pretty dirty, pretty oily. Got lots of rags up there and stuff to do, so yeah, that's where we're at, and I'll turn you guys back on when I get this dang lid off. There's a couple bolts that are going to be fun, because they're down deep inside here, and yeah, in there. It's great. Yeah. As you can tell, I took some of her clothes off. There's 2 bolts here, 2 screws here, 2 bolts in here that are only accessible from the inside, and then a bolt here on this side, and it's basically symmetrical. There'll be another bolt over here. 2 bolts on the bottom, 2 screws here. I always put all my fasteners back in the corresponding holes. That way reassembly is a little nicer. And here's the other 2 bolts here. These ones are also to reach in from the side, so you got to flip the hood open and get in here and work your magic. But I got her off and kind of stowed out of the way. I hope good enough. Now dive in this and have a little looky at the electronics, because it's loose wires and things and stuff here and there, and like, what does it do? What is it here for? Does it need to be there? Like, what's going on? Have a look at my ignition. Yeah, kind of nice to be able to actually get in here and have a looky at it with everything off and peeled away. Yeah. As you can see, she's a bit of a pile of stuff in here. It'd be nice to find any bad wires and replace them outright. Have a good look underneath here and figure out what's going on with stuff. The gauges don't really work on this thing at all anyway, so there's no point in really maintaining or keeping much of it. I should technically buy a whole new gauge cluster, but that's out of my budget. Replacing this clutch is going to be expensive and painful and tedious enough first off. Yeah, so eventually I'm going to have to put some blocks underneath here, but I got to disconnect steering linkage, exhaust, because it goes all the way across and will be in the way, clutch linkage, which could probably stay put really, because it's going to be getting disconnected right here. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to move. I'm not looking forward to any of it, but it's a beginning. Well, I couldn't get the tractor started, and thanks to these guys, I highly recommend, if you have an old Ford, get on their channel. They are the shiznit. I've emailed them in the past. They've given me helpful advice. So what it was the coil was not a happy camper. So I replaced the coil and boom, and a bunch of other adjustments. It was quite time consuming, but the tractor now starts, so that's a bonus. So time to dive into this. Next thing I got to do is pull the battery I believe this hydraulic pump. Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff that has to come out of here. And oddly enough, I'm going to be looking at one of their videos to figure out how exactly all this goes step by step. Like I say, I'm just a backyard mechanic. I ain't no real, true, hardcore mechanic. So, yeah, any help the better, which is good. I'm pretty sure I was able to get this thing started, so that's a bonus. Anyways, yeah, hood is off. It's pinned up against the wall. Tractor starts. Time to dive into this and bust stuff apart. Now, one thing I noticed was when the vehicle is engaged in reverse, if you throttle up on it, it does try to crawl in reverse. So that's telling me maybe the clutch might be intact and it's the throw-out bearing. So that would be a lot cheaper just to replace a spring or two, because there's 2 springs on that, I believe. I'll know when I get in there. And then do everything else. One thing I'm going to be doing too is dumping the transmission fluid and the hydraulics on this in the rear end and swapping that out. I'm also probably going to end up doing an oil change on this thing eventually as well, just because it needs it all. So yeah, and also while I got everything off, I'm going to get in here and just try to give this thing a bit of a wipe, because it's pretty yucky. And just give it a good go over, tighten up nuts and bolts and see what's going on. And overall, I'm pretty pleased with the old tractor. And I'm waiting for my little helper to come out here, Maggie, and contribute to the chaos. But yeah, I'm pumped I was able to get started, because that occupied a bit of time. So yeah, the beat goes on. And get the tie rod out. So that's where I'm at. I should probably hose this thing down with some penetrating lubricant and then give it the old college try. Go for broke. So that's where I'm at. Things are progressing well. So I was able to get started. Now I'm getting the battery out. I wanted to get started before I remove the battery. I figured it's kind of important. And it's also a heck of a lot nicer to work on when you don't have all the loader attachments. Oh, it's like a clear line of sight. You can just go right on in there. It's fabulous. Alright, yeah, I'm going to hit the brakes on this and get these tie rod ends off, then these wheels will be all crazy. I'm wondering if I should start chalking up the back end there. Nah, nothing will roll yet. It's just the front end will just steer funny. Alright, so yeah. Spray, pop those off, get those out of the way, and after I'm done all that, I'll start plugging away on the next step, and I'll turn this camera back on and let you know what she's doing. Bye. Well, managed to get him off of there. Holy smokes. It was quite the ordeal. There was a bit of impact, a bit of a blowtorch, a bit of a bent screwdriver. Struggle's real. Keep in mind, some of these things haven't been moved and opened up in 70 plus years. Yeah. Working on old things sometimes is nice, sometimes it's not. Holy cow. Wow. Damn. Well, time to do some more stuff next, which I'm not looking forward to, because this is just not an easy project. Holy smokes. Alright, next up was removing the radius arms. These were studs in there, and the top stud stayed in place, so I had to take out the whole board, and when I did that, I found out this one goes straight through, and it kind of acted as a bit of a drain. So it's basically symmetrical on the other side, without having to take off a running board. I got lucky on that because it was just 2 straight through bolts. So you see these ones are out here. Next thing to do was wire on the starter and a linkage on the choke, which is back here, and just goes on this little ball back here. And this little gizmo here, check this out. Spring loaded. You just get her on there and clip her into place. Pretty handy. This is the next linkage that needs to come out, is this guy here. And it's just kind of like a little clip. Kind of hopefully get that off of there. I'm not sure about the rest of it. And hopefully this thing kind of should just, yep, pop right on off. Nice little clip. We're just going to put that clip right back on there so one does not lose it. fact, you can probably get away with sliding it back over top and clipping it right back in place. Perfect. There we go. So now I don't have to worry about losing that clip. And I'll keep you posted as to the next step, because it's probably going to be a little bit of electrical. This guy's going to have to go. Yeah. Plumbing and parts. Good times. But it's coming on. It's a ton of little steps. When you're working with something that's so old, it's time-consuming little steps. Several of them. Oh boy. Alright, back onto the right side of the tractor. And up in here I had to disconnect the oil pressure gauge, which was attached to this line, which after I unscrewed it, the line conveniently broke. So I'm going to have to hopefully find a chunk of line and replace that. That's another thing for the list. One thing I found was this little block in here. I'm not sure what it is for. It's like an old switcher button down here, and this was obviously attached to here at one point in time, kind of ish to there. So yeah, that's hopefully not important. Like, it was running without it attached, so okay. Yeah. So there's a few little wires and gizmos in here and there have to come off. Everything's kind of. I'm gonna leave this the water temperature or coolant temperature line. I'm gonna see if I can get away with leaving this on, just stretching it out. That'd be probably a nice thing to do. Yeah. So I just need to crack this, open it up. If I have to disconnect this, I'll have to do it up here. It looks pretty rickety and pretty old. And yeah, if I do it from here, I'm afraid I'm going to leak fluid out of the block. So push comes to shove, I'll have to do it. Hopefully I don't. So yeah, that's where I am is at. Coming along, slow and steady, but progress, except for this. That's a step in the wrong direction. On this side over here, managed to get the exhaust out, the line that feeds into the carb, got the linkages, powers, got the alternator disconnected. These wires are kind of up and out of the way. So if you look down the middle here, I just got to disconnect the battery box from over here, I believe. Keep everything in a straight line. And when I do this should have some room to come back this way, so I could pretty much stay in place as I separate. I'm pretty sure I got to take off the starter, which is going to suck because there's a bolt down in there in that far back bottom corner, I'm sure of it. Oh no, maybe not. I don't feel one, which would be kind of handy. It goes against every other Ford. I know the the starter on my old Ford was evil like that, so I'm going to have to disconnect the battery box here, and then I'll be ready to do the old separating. Oh boy. Hopefully I can get this done before this evening and see what's wrong inside. It should be really, really damn cool. Well, I got the jacks underneath there, jack stands. Realized I had to take the starter out. In order to take the starter out, you gotta pull the oil filter, which means you gotta dump the oil. Great. And then there's a few bolts on each side. I got my rigging all rigged up. Seeing how I'm on a sheet of ice in here, I decided to go into the Chevy and grab some metal wheel chocks that have little teeth on them that you bite in. Figured it'd be a little bit better than just using that block of wood. So yeah, I'm gonna pull the oil, then I'm gonna pull the starter, and then I got a few last little bolts to go around the spots to do it. Yay, getting closer. A pile of stuff I peeled off, the exhaust over there. Now, like I say, I'm going to keep that coolant line. Oh, jeez, my butt. I'm going to pull this guy. Hopefully I can keep the hydraulic pump on there. I'm also going to have to bust the manifold down below here, bust that off. This here. Oh, jeez. I have a bunch of stuff behind me. And then, yeah, getting to these antiques, which is going to probably be near impossible because they're pretty old. And I'm going to have to clean everything up so I can get it all back in there. Oh boy. So yeah, lots of little things to do. Lots of fluid needs to come out. Hydraulic, motor oil. It's a full-on pile of hell. And that's where I'm at. I'll keep you posted as I go. Hopefully I can film the separation. Well, after several exhausting hours of bolt removal, some of them were very, very stubborn and did not like to come out easily. I managed to get them all out without buggering any of them up. Yes. And time to separate this thing somehow. Yeah, I'll have to get a pry bar or something in there and just kind of work my way around. But she's good to go. Everything's snugged up. You see it, she's just a little close on this side here. Is there another bolt back in there? Get this light going here. Yeah, there should be nothing in there. It's capturing my eye. I should just want to go. Good on this side. A little stubborn on this side. Well, I'm going to go grab a little pry bar and tap her in there and see if I can open it up and pop it. Well, holy by jeez, there was a third bolt in that hydraulic manifold. It was in a god-awful spot, hard to find because it was a longer bolt. It goes right into there. Once that came off, well then, you know, it was just a matter of the two safety bolts I had in there. And the only thing I got left tying this together is the coolant line there, the antifreeze coolant temperature. And taking the bolts out of the clutch bracket, and hopefully that should just pop off of there. Lots of rust in the area where there's not supposed to be any rust, so that's part of it. And also too, you can see chunks of the clutch plate into here, so that's pretty indicative of there not being any clutch left in there. So that's where this is at. That's a progress, so I'm pretty pumped on it. I'm very thankful to the people I reached out to because I got some good answers and some good help. So that's a bonus. Whenever you're in doubt with something that's beyond your capabilities, always reach out. And this is another thing I notice on this. There's a little bit of damage on these gears here. So I might just get a new one of this when the time comes. But holy schmoly, what a pile of work. Now to get the rest of this off of here. Ay. Oh, another thing I noticed too is the throat bearing in there. It's a little loose, has a little play. The seal on there is pretty much not happy, so I'm going to probably have to deal with all that. In order to get into there, I'm probably going to have to do something about that antifreeze line, but I'm going to cross that bridge when I get there. I just want to get a better idea of what I need for parts. And the parts list is, oh geez, let me see here, what do I got? The 4 bolts for the fenders. I'm going to have to do this pump down here, this hydraulic pump for the bucket. It's going to need a new one. I'm just either going to do seals or just a brand new pump. I might just see what the difference is on that. Crown nuts for these guys here, to that are just new ball joints. Yeah. Quite the frickin' process, holy schmoly. Tractor separated to double clutch. One's for the drive, the other one's for the PTO. I had to buy a nice fancy tool. This guy here. Unfortunately, that tool is 180 something kilometers away. And I made it to the store within the last 10 minutes. And the clutch plate is in here, and as you can tell, the bits and pieces. Yeah, so I gotta use this tool to release pressure in each spring. Remove the little clips. Work my way all the way around. Bag and tag each spring. And then, yeah, it's going to be great. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now, and that's where it's gonna stay. And I gotta go back to Alberta tomorrow, so I'm gonna probably leave it like this and gear up. I got the instructions in here in the shop manual, which is handy. Hi, what a long process this has been. As you can tell by the tools, the carnage, and stuff all over the place. I'm going to come out here tomorrow and give it a good clean up because, like I say, I got stuff everywhere. But, yeah, this is where I'm at in this project. And it's been quite the project. Holy smokes. You know, I'm kind of mechanically sound. I'm pretty confident in doing a lot of things, but I've never torn apart a tractor before or done a clutch. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. Oh boy, then having to put everything all back together. Yeah. But it's going to be a lot happier, and I'll have my tractor back. I'm pretty sure my dad would be kind of impressed by how this thing is looking, because this is a lot of work just to get to here. Holy smokes. So I got jack stands underneath here, just in case this thing creeps down. I got the back end with 2 jack stands and the jack. So that's pretty stable. The tires are chalked. Should be okay for the 2 weeks while I'm gone. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get new O-rings in there for that. And it was quite the process separating this. Holy smokes! Finding a few bolts that I didn't know existed. And yeah. You know, there's gonna be a few parts to be ordered. I'm gonna probably end up getting new bolts for back here, new nuts for that, maybe even just new ball joints altogether. I'm going to change the oil, there'll be a new oil filter in there. What else do I got to do? Clutch, obviously, clutch plate, O-rings, seal for the hydraulic pump, which is over there. Yeah, lots and lots of little things to do. But my goodness, what a project. I'm looking forward to getting everything all cleaned up and put away and done with. I'll have to edit that part out. It's quite the intimidating project. Anyways, until it continues on a couple of weeks from now. See you then. And by editing, it goes by so quick. It's going to look like this is done in a few days. A few days continuously, non-stop. Yeah. Well, I'm going to turn this camera off and put everything away and keep on trucking.